Welcome to the Game Deflators Podcast, episode 28. My name's John. I'm joined by Ryan and a sponsor of Pepto-Bismol, James.
Indeed. I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Well, I'll tell you what we're doing here. Here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we're currently playing, games we've recently picked up, and always getting better as we go at it, picking up new and fun games and trying things we've never tried before. Game Deflators Inflation Deflation Challenge.
Yeah, dude. Last week I was actually pretty stoked with what we played. I'm not really stoked. What was it? Raiden Project. Jeez, man, I'm having like brain farts here. And then this week we went ahead and picked up the 3DO that I've had kind of sitting on my shelf for quite some time, and more on that later.
It's I think we finally learned that we could pick good games to play too.
Yeah, I mean, James over here with his crappy game challenges on a, I don't know what a crappy game challenge is. We should probably just steer away from that conversation. He's just looking at me.
Yeah, because you guys keep shitting all over my crappy game challenge. Y'all are just like, this shit sandwich tastes spectacular, and you think I don't know what y'all are up to.
Hey, Ghostbusters wasn't bad.
Yeah, it really wasn't that bad of a game. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're saying Ghostbusters wasn't that bad? So you're saying y'all should play the first one and...
See, I think he's out of ideas. I think he's out of ideas. All he could come up with is more Ghostbusters.
I would agree on that, man.
So y'all want to play the first Ghostbusters. So you're saying y'all have selected your own crappy game challenge because you've already played Ghostbusters 2 and y'all thought it was pretty good. So Ghostbusters 1 can't be that bad, right?
Not really. I mean, if the sequel's anything, if the sequel's better than the original, I'd imagine the original has to be fantastic.
What?
Very well. I will loan y'all my copy of Ghostbusters on NES for the next crappy game challenge.
I actually might have
challenge
it.
accepted.
I actually might have it on the Sega Master System.
Ooh, yeah, it's about the same.
It might be. Oh, I think I also have it on the Atari.
I actually think it is. Well, it's slightly different, like a little watered down on the Atari, of course, because of hardware limitations. But I think the Master System version is the same as the NES version, like gameplay wise.
Well, it sounds good. So maybe not this coming week, but it'll be on the list. We'll play it.
We'll do it.
Choose the form of your destruction.
All right, so we'll get started. Ryan, did you get any pickups this week?
This week I did not. I'm still playing through some of the beginning of Final Fantasy 12, and I'm still, blazing some caves every once in a while. I just can't get away from that game.
So, sounds like you had a very boring weekend then. I personally picked up a copy of Budokai Tenkaichi 3, complete in box. Finally added that to the PS2 collection. And also picked up a Super Nintendo with a copy of Tournament Fighters and Donkey Kong Country 3. So those are my recent pickups this week. Probably end up trading in or flipping the Super Nintendo, unfortunately. Got to make up for that Budokai Tenkaichi 3 I picked up. Obviously, it'll be at a good price, so we'll see how that goes. James?
I'm actually trying to find the name of the game I picked up a week or two ago. It's a PC game. I posted it to the page for everyone because it was free and are cheap. And it's, I feel really bad. I can't remember the EEP History, or EEP History, like history, but with an E. So EEP History. Anyhow, imagine a game, like I'm sure most people are familiar with Typing of the Dead, whereas that's, more or less a first-person shooter where you type to kill enemies. This is more like a top-down isometric perspective RPG / world-building game where, you're running around Diablo style and you're getting swarmed by mobs of enemies, and you actually have to type the words on screen to attack them. And as you do this, you're actually unveiling more parts of the world, very similar to Bastion, I would say. And it looked really amazing, and it was cheap, so I went ahead and picked it up. As far as anything else, technically I didn't pick it up, but Nintendo did add Star Tropics to the Nintendo Online for the Switch, and I started playing that again.
Very nice. Yeah, you were telling me about Star Tropics the other day when we were talking about Zelda II.
Yeah, I am actually enjoying hearing about your wife playing Zelda 2 more so than I have ever enjoyed playing it myself.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into what we're currently playing then, right? So, my wife is playing Zelda 2. James warned her probably about 2 months ago, and she was like, I want to play the whole Zelda series. So she got super excited about playing Zelda, and James is like, once you get to number 2, you're going to absolutely hate it. It's terrible. And she is regretting every moment of that, but she is determined to beat that game.
She is powering through it. It brought a smile to my face.
Oh, yeah. So she's on... she just beat the 5th boss in the game. I think there's 7. She's level 8. Yesterday was pretty funny watching her play. She was just yelling at the TV, getting frustrated at the 5th boss. And I was like, hold on, let me see what's going on. So I watched a quick video, because I hadn't picked up the controller, and I think the most I got through Zelda 2 was maybe the first dungeon. I was like, screw this, I'm done. So I looked
at here, folks. I made it all the way to 4 before I corrupted my own save file.
So she pretty much just beat both of us combined.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I went ahead and watched a quick video. I'm like, all right, how does what's the best strategy for this guy?
Stab him in the head.
No, not even that, man. It was the strategy was wait till he throws. It's a Guma, I think is his name, and you wait till he throws his like spike ball at you, and he reels it back in. Right when he throws it, that last split second, you're supposed to jump towards him, stab him, jump back, and just rinse and repeat, basically. So, I tried it a few times and realized I hadn't played this game at all in such a long time, and so went ahead, jumped in, stabbed, and started getting kind of used to the feels of it. Of course, every time we got a game over, we were restarted to the beginning of the damn castle and having to walk back. But we finally got back there. It was probably about my 4th attempt at the boss. And I think I had a little bit of health. The stupid thing about this game, I'm healing, and then she's like, heal. I'm like, I'm pressing the damn select button to heal. She's like, no, you have to press start and then heal. I'm like, what? So yeah, you have to reset your magic, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So heal, go ahead and get through a little bit more, and then he's got about 2 shots left. She's like, come on. She's like freaking out because she wants it beat so badly. And I finally healed again, stabbed him a couple times, and she was like, yes, I love you so much, and ran over to me and everything. It was the most excited I've seen her playing a video game ever, and so that was pretty funny. I had to tell you that right away when that occurred.
That is truly awesome. I wish I could have been a fly on a wall for that.
Oh man,
because that is so adorable.
That kind of reminded me of when we were playing Lost Levels that time, and we were just getting through that castle, and I somehow dodged like 50 million hammers to get through, and you guys were like, "What the hell? I can't believe you just did that."
Yeah. I miss having moments with that like that with y'all. It's one of the reasons I came out. Especially the whole time we were playing the Lost Levels, and whoever was playing, the rest of us were just sitting there with our hands clenched, like, come on, you can do it, oh god.
Yeah, Ryan, Lost Levels is probably one of the greater gaming experiences that we had. Just the consistent dying in that game was ridiculous. Well, that being said, so my currently playing, I've been picking up Salt and Sanctuary every now and then before bed, and I have progressed to, I'm level 15, and I'm getting a pretty good hand for the controls. I kind of wish I would play it on my TV versus in handheld mode. It feels like it's going to be a lot smoother having the 2 Joy-Cons versus holding the system and everything. But I have progressed to... I am now going to be on the 3rd boss. So I'm in the 3rd area of the game. And I probably played about a couple hours in. So I'd imagine... I think it's supposed to be like a 15-hour game. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm pretty excited about it. It's pretty... You
liking the upgrade tree system and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's definitely interesting compared to like a Dark Souls, because obviously Dark Souls is like, all right, I've got my stats I can increase, and then I can buy magic and stuff, versus, this is like, very specific, and it's kind of dumbed down in a sense for non-Souls players, in that... Hey, look, if you select this one right here, that gives you +2 to strength, plus here's some of the benefits and what it helps you get, versus like a Dark Souls or Bloodborne, you know what you're doing, but somebody that's not familiar with the game is going to be like, okay, I'm going to increase my dex. I don't know what that does, but, we'll go ahead.
So it's not dumbed down, it just explains itself.
Yeah, but I would consider it dumbed down.
By explaining itself, like, the ambiguity that makes games hard doesn't necessarily make them better.
Well... I didn't say I made it better. I would just say I like it. It's pretty cool. So being able to... It reminds me kind of a Final Fantasy X sphere grid system in a sense.
Yeah.
Where I can kind of go whatever path I want to go. So right now, like, I haven't done any magic points. It's been purely strength and defense or endurance to try and obviously bolster what I currently have so I can power through and level grind. And then once I've done that, I'll start shifting into the magic focus of things, which is pretty much how I play Souls to begin with.
So you were saying that essentially you're making a dex build?
No, right now it's purely been a strength build for my character, and that's just to do level grinding, and then I'm going to focus on throwing in some magic on there. I want to say my dex is like 10 or something, and my strength is like a 15 or 16 right now. Like, I'm just purely trying to build up that strength and defense, so that way I can go ahead and build into the other areas I want and be able to stand a chance against minor foes.
Ryan, you haven't really played Dark Souls, have you?
I played some of Dark Souls 2, and I played some of Salt and Sanctuary, but I played like 5 minutes of Bloodborne, so that barely even counts.
Okay, so in defense of Dark Souls, Dark Souls 1 specifically actually does have a tutorial at the beginning. It's just completely different from what you would imagine. Like, as you start out, you'll start noticing the messages on the ground. The messages are literally like, press R2 to block. You're like, wait, why the hell did I know? Ah, you're getting hit by an arrow and shit. But you and me, man, we'll sit down, we'll play through Dark Souls Remastered.
I thought about getting Dark Souls 1. I like Dark Souls 2 for what I played of it, but I just kind of got to the point where I would just go through an area and just kill all the enemies until they stop respawning, and just kind of cheese my way through that way.
I have to admit, I thought that was kind of annoyance, but also kind of a good feature of Dark Souls 2, that, you know, especially when the area is a real pain in the ass, that eventually after you kill them 10 times, most of them will stop spawning. Dark Souls 2, to me, though, ended up being kind of tedious both times I played through it. I mean, it was definitely more fun the second time because I was playing with John. But, you know, I personally feel that Dark Souls is definitely the original. It's definitely one of those games that a lot of gamers should experience. So whenever you're ready, man, I will go through with you, and I'll do my best not to abandon you 1/4 of the way through the game like I did John.
All right,
dude. Dark Souls 1. He's just like, hey, you want to play Dark Souls? Yeah, sure. And actually, I already beat Demon Souls, so I was familiar with the concept, right? So
yeah,
it wasn't like I
got this.
It wasn't like I was left alone. Actually, Dark Souls was pretty easy, the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're playing Dark Souls, and he's super excited about playing with me. We get through, I don't know, maybe the first boss or two, and he's like, all right, enjoy. I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought we were playing this together. No, I got other games I got to beat. I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, I've already beat this like 3 times. You're on your own. Here's Darkroot Garden Basin. Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's actually exactly where he left me. I'm like,
beginning.
What the hell? In fact, I think I started playing on PC initially, and I think James was playing with me on PC.
PS3. We were playing on PS3.
No, I played PC before, though.
Oh, before, yeah. When I was playing with you, I was playing on PS3 because it was just easier.
So, yeah, I tried playing on PC initially, and I had my PS3 controller hooked up, and it just wasn't as good. There weren't as many people playing on PC at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went ahead and hooked it up on PS3 and was able to get a good experience on that. But, yeah, that bastard just left me for dead in the Darkroot Basin.
Now, to be fair, I played through the entirety of Dark Souls 2 Scholar the First Sin with John. Like, I made a point that's like, no, we're going to grab every item in every level. We're going to 100% this, not counting trophies. But on top of that, you were, what, 3/4 of the way through Dark Souls 3? And I was like, you know what, man, I just beat this like 6 months ago. I'm bored. And I left you to your fate.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, Dark Souls is easy, though. Like, after you kind of left me stranded on that game, I summoned in a few people here and there, but a bulk of those bosses were actually much easier than a lot of the other games. Like I forget the demon, but the one that like flies around a little bit and then sits down and creates an earthquake behind you. You fall into a pit, and when you fall into the pit, you've got this demon, this fat demon, he kind of floats up a little bit and then he drops.
Oh, that sounds like the Asylum demon.
I think it was
that's
that
from the
one.
first Dark Souls. Yeah, the very first boss.
So, well, no, I mean, you get to him later on in the game again. You get to battle him. And
oh, yeah, you can totally whip his ass.
So, like, that was one that I just fondly remember as, like, just continually playing. I'm like, all right, I see his pattern. Let's do this, and there was nobody would get summoned in.
Yep.
There was nobody on that. So, it was just, there were a number of bosses I had to beat on my own.
John had to get good.
I did get good. In fact,
when are you
I got
actually
very
going to
good.
play Sekiro?
Oh, man, dude, I want to play that so badly. So, right now, as you
I want to
know...
watch you play.
Yeah, so as you know, I'm obviously, like, finishing up the game room here. I've got my plaster up there on the wall for that hole that I had to fix, so that's all good to go. I just got to paint that and then put up a few more posters, and then after I've kind of settled things in like that, I think I'll be good to play some Sekiro. So
Nice.
I really want to play that game, but I do understand I have lots of personal life stuff I have to complete first, so I'm kind of doing that at the time.
What is Ryan playing?
So I'm still messing around with Final Fantasy 12. That's fun. It's great. And then I also just started playing Link to the Past again.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's classic.
On my micro, so that's fun.
Oh, so you're playing the GBA version, the one that has 4 swords built in?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm playing through that. I was watching a YouTuber. They're playing a randomizer right now, so I was like, oh, I should get in on some Link to the Past action.
James, in 2 weeks, ask him if he beat Link to the Past.
Oh, I won't have.
At what part are you in 12?
I'm still just way at the very beginning.
Like you're in the sewers or whatever?
I'm doing, I just killed the tomato for the first hunt thing.
Oh.
Hey, Ryan.
Okay, do you have any clue what the hell is going on in the story?
The story's like just starting.
Okay, so I'll ask you again once you're like maybe 20 hours into it. Like, Ryan, can you explain the plot of this game just to make sure it's not just me?
See what's going on.
Hey, so Ryan, isn't there a YouTuber called The Completionist?
Yes, there is.
I think we should make a sub-page for us called The Incompletionist,
Right.
and we can make you the star of that. And the greatest thing about that is you get through maybe halfway, a quarter way through the game, and people are like really engaged, want to know what's going on, and then it just drops off.
Yeah.
And they're like, what happened? And then I come and I'm like, well, unfortunately, folks, Ryan decided to bail in this game, and he found a new game that he wanted to play.
Oh, there's always something new and shiny.
He had that $1 game just kind of sparked his interest, so he had to jump on it.
We can
Yeah.
call it the Satisfactionist.
Right.
And then every time, it'll start out like a Let's Play and watching Ryan play, and at the end we'll just scroll out to the credits like the end of the movie is like, how instead of Ryan grew up and moved on to be a sinner, is like Ryan made it to the Great Pumpkin Boss, and then he bought this game, and now he's playing that.
He made it all the way to Mount Moon, and then he gave up.
I got to give it to Ryan, man. He's probably played more games than we have just because of the sheer
Right.
amount of games that we have to beat first.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of people out there like that. Like not everybody finishes every game, and I mean,
except my wife.
some yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's some
She's a
people
beast.
like with Sekiro and the whole argument over this. Does it deserve an easy mode? It's like, what happens if you get to a game that you literally can't finish? Like, are you entitled to be able to finish that?
Yes, you have to get good.
Should you feel bad if you don't finish a game? Like, if you just play a game for a little bit, like, I don't have hundreds of hours to throw at every single game. Like, I would like to play Dragon Quest 11. That's supposed to be really good, but that's like a huge game. There's no way I'm going to finish that.
Oh yeah, almost all Dragon Quest games are a massive time suck. They're really good, but holy fucking shit, they're a time suck.
So when I played Demon Souls on PS3, at that time, Demon
With the
Souls had
Naked
been
Barbarian.
out. What's that?
I said with the Naked Barbarian.
No, I wasn't a Naked Barbarian. But no, I played Demon Souls,
didn't
and
get good?
when I was playing Demon Souls, there was nobody playing that game at the time, and it seemed unbeatable, but I just kept grinding and battling through, and I finally beat it. So a game like Sekiro, again, get good. Like, there doesn't need to be an easy mode. It's meant to be hard, and if you picked it up with the expectation that there would be an easy mode, you kind of did yourself a disservice and are out $60.
I think a lot of people picked it up with the expectation of it being a Soulsborne game, even though they kept saying this is not a Soulsborne game. I picked it up with the expectation of it being a blend of Soulsborne and Tenchu, and I'm a little disappointed that the more Tenchu-esque elements of it are a bit lacking, especially as a game that started out as a Tenchu game. The reason I stopped playing, honestly, is not just because of the difficulty, but because of unbalanced difficulty. There are certain points where you're going to come across a mini boss early on, and you're just going to get fucking trashed, and then you'll find, the game will say, oh, okay, you've unlocked this move, and you'll realize, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing to beat this character. And you'll get past that when you get to the next one. Okay, I'm supposed to do this move to beat this character. You will do it, and you'll watch that character, instead of being stunned or stun locked for the moment like you're supposed to be, they'll just break right out of it. And that's what kind of pissed me off and made me step away from it for right now.
Well, I'm bound and determined to beat that game. It kind of reminds me of frustration similar to Neo when we were playing that game.
Oh, yeah.
But Neo was just like, a million items that you picked up. Every person you beat dropped some sort of item. Like, there was item drops galore, and it just
Diablo Souls.
It got a little ridiculous.
And tedious.
Yeah, tedious as well. So Neo wasn't as fun. This seems like it's going to be a little more straightforward, like a Souls game, but it's going to have that difficulty and probably that pain in the ass type of difficulty like a Neo. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's a game that, with me, once I start a Souls game, I have to beat a Souls game. So I will complete that game.
Now, to side with Ryan, I totally get some games, and we were talking about this earlier, some games are just, I will get tired of playing them. Like, pretty sure I'm never, ever going to finish Fallout 3, and that's not because I didn't like it. I fucking loved that game when it came out. I played it so fucking much. We're talking like 150 hours of me just exploring, that when it finally came time that I got to the Brotherhood of Steel Fortress and whatnot, I was just so burned out on it that I was just like, a couple of years later, I was like, you know what? I am so close to the end of this game. Let me just pick it up and finish it. And I was just, God, I can't stand playing this game. And since I started playing Skyrim, I get the feeling I'll probably end up doing the same. I'll get tired of it rather than finishing it. But for example, on the other hand, I have things like Bloodborne. I've finished Bloodborne. I got the poor ending and the good ending. But the one thing I didn't do is I never finished the Chalice dungeons. Like, I never got to the Queen of Thumeria.
That, man.
Yeah, like I even after a while, because I was really enjoying the Chalice dungeons, and someone finally figured out the shortest path to get to the Queen of Thumeria, or whatever her name is, the super hidden secret boss. And I was just like, you know what? I have clocked in 100+ hours, like 140 hours in this game, and I've enjoyed every bit, but I'm done. I feel like I've played it to my satisfaction, therefore I've completed it,
Yeah, I was like that with the game as well. I had a guy that I would play with every now and then on that on Bloodborne, and he was like, "Yep, I beat the game. I'm at 200 hours, and I'm almost done to Chalice dungeons." I'm like, "What the hell, dude?" I knew people that were like 400 hours into like Oblivion and such years ago. So it does surprise me that some people, they enjoy it that much and they progress through. But to your point of Fallout 3, that was a game that I actually went through and did exactly what you're saying. I just played the hell out of it, did a lot of side quests, all that good stuff. And after a little bit, I was just like, you know what? Like, and I set it down for a couple of years, came back, picked it up. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to beat this game now. Like, I'm just going to progress through the regular story and beat the game. And it was actually pretty enjoyable at that point. So I'm right there with you, man. In a lot of his games, the tedious aspects, and just once it's after a while, you're just like, all right, I'm finished.
So since we kind of derailed the conversation on you, Ryan, sorry about that.
We're good. I talked about the stuff I'm currently playing.
No. Well, I was going to ask, do you generally feel that it's a matter of, like you're playing a game and you're like, ooh, squirrel, or ooh, new and shiny, or is it you play until you're like, you know what, I'm good, I feel satisfied, I'm just going to stop here and move on to the next thing?
I mean, it's a combination of both, and then every so often I get those games that I just can't get away from.
K-Blazers.
K-Blazers.
Messenger.
Point first.
Messenger.
Ooh,
well, no, the
what's
Messenger I totally finished. I finished that game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
you beat it. That's what I'm saying. Like, and K-Blazers, I would anticipate you to beat as well, because you're so into it.
I don't know, man. That's just like, it's just one of those things, like, I don't play it the way I used to, where I would sit down just all night. Now it's like, I'll go in, I'll do like one good run, and then I'll just stop after that and do other things. Like, it's more just kind of like, I know that I could probably figure out ways to beat it with these other classes, but you just need to have a good run. And sometimes you're just not going to have a good run, and sometimes you'll have a really bad run of like just not anything syncing up. You don't have any kind of good weapons, or you don't have any kind of good magic, and it's just not working, but you just keep staying alive. And it's like you'll make it like way deep, and you're like, I'm never gonna beat it on this. Like, I don't even know why I'm still going. Like, I have no kind of combinations that work well together. I'm barely just getting through. I'm not gonna win, but you just keep going. Just see if you could make that run work.
Watch this. One day Ryan's gonna come by and he's gonna be like, well, I beat Minecraft. And we're just gonna be like, you fucking what? And he's like, yeah, I finished Minecraft. Like, you fucking what? He's like, do you mean Minecraft story mode? No, Minecraft. I finished it.
The whole thing.
There's no more to build, guys. It's done. I've built everything.
There is no raw land left.
Done it all.
Including the unreleased stuff? Yes. Oh, man, he will surprise us one day.
I played it so much that now Blizzard is paying me a monthly fee for it.
Oh, my God. Well, hey, speaking of Blizzard, this has nothing to do with our news, but
Dun dun dun.
dun, 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 let's go into news.
Right.
So, actually, no, I actually did see great transition. I actually did see an article the other day, and I didn't read it, just a headline, but it said something about Blizzard is now producing less games than they normally do. So it's actually gotten to where they're not producing just about anything, which is interesting.
Well, they're working on that Diablo mobile, which we'll see how that goes.
That'll be the end of them right there. It'll be over.
I don't know. I have a feeling they'll be able to hook in like a ton of casual people that don't want to sit down and PC game and don't want to wait for whatever the next game to be eventually ported over.
And absolutely love in-game purchases and advertisements.
Oh, so you must mean you guys have smartphones.
Yeah.
I love the blank stare Ryan's giving me right now. Sorry, that was a
quote
play on
from
joke.
the
Yeah.
from the
If you
reveal.
actually watched that, it was just like a fucking bloodbath.
I
it
was
was
giving
so
you
bad.
the silence the audience gave him. The announcement.
He saved it. He saved
Is
it.
this a late April Fool's joke?
Wait, are you guys being fucking serious right now?
All right, well, let's get on to the actual topic. Ryan, you had something about Anthem and their developers.
So Anthem,
And this is kind of based on last week, too, because we had discussed that Anthem players are dropping off. So this is kind of a bridge now.
yeah. So just kind of follow up on that. The producers of Anthem and some of the other senior members have moved on to Dragon Age 4. So BioWare is shifting their focus over. They're like, all right, time to really start working on this now. And the players all on the subreddit are like, all right, this game's dead. All the delays and the upcoming content, and now that it's just like support staff being left behind, like I can't believe this is keep going downhill for them. Like every week it just goes further and further downhill. It's like 76 all over again. And I keep saying it's like 76 all over again, and it keeps happening.
So I think secretly Ryan is actually the CEO of BioWare. He's like, you know what? You see that game Anthem over there? Let's leave it unfinished, and let's move on to the next game.
Right? Yeah.
I
We
think-
already got your fucking money. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel bad for everybody who fell into this hole. And, you know, I hope that the support staff is enough to turn it around eventually. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But if they just completely abandonware this and just leave it to fully die, it's going to look even worse. Like, they're way better off just, you know, putting some resources at it. And then, you know, a year and a half from now, they could be like, it's good now. And then they can do, like, a big 50% sale launch or put it on PS Plus for a month and capture a whole new free audience to go in and hopefully buy whatever's left over.
Cough, for honor. Cough.
Right.
Well, James tied in on that. I think you had discussed your PC Master Race Epic Store.
Oh, yeah. Well, before we get to that, I was going to say, you know what would be genius and goddamn hilarious at the same time is if BioWare just takes that new Dragon Age game that they're working on and is like, yeah, we'll just build it on the Anthem engine. You fucking let's save money.
They are building it to be a live service game. It's going to have multiplayer and all that stuff. Like, they didn't learn their lesson. They're going to go try to ruin the thing that could actually save them and keep them together because, you know, their parent company is probably too greedy to let them just make good games again.
I'm fucking cracking up over here. All right, so I understand that the the internet hot topic of the month in gaming culture is all about the Epic Games Store. Brian, you were saying earlier that they got jilted by Microsoft.
Yeah, so came out. Microsoft has decided that they are going to release the Master Chief Collection not on the Epic Games Store. Epic Games, they also just picked up some exclusivity with Borderlands 3. So that's 2K and Microsoft taking sides on this new... I mean, I don't want to call it a console war because it's not. It's a launcher war.
That's kind of true. It's really about the game store. What it really comes down to is everyone wanting to feel like they're rooting for the underdog, saying, oh, Epic's game store is being picked on, blah, blah, blah. And correct me if I'm wrong, weren't Epic's the ones that not more than a month or so ago were like, well, if you guys don't buy Metro, whatever the fuck version this is, then, which I granted the quote actually was like, look, if people don't buy this, we won't be able to make another. That got taken out of context, but them essentially saying, well, you can only get this in our store. You did ask me about that earlier. I did point out that the games for Windows Live, which was launched about the same time as the Xbox 360, it fucking fell through because it was cumbersome and fucking annoying, and it was an additional sin. Like Spider 4, for example, to this day, I still have to install it on Steam, fire it up. I still have to fucking launch games for Windows Live as part of its programming. It is fucking ridiculous.
It's like playing a Ubisoft game and you have to log into your Ubisoft account.
Oh, God, yeah, it drives me up the fucking wall because I told you about that. I was like, I'm going to play Far Cry 3. Okay, you still got to launch from Steam, launch from the Ubisoft just so they can keep track of their own shit. It's really unnecessary. If you're providing me with the Steam key, and me personally, I prefer Steam because just so far they've done it best. I don't particularly like exclusivity. I am one of those fucking people that are just like, man, I've said it for years. If I could get Mario, Metroid, Zelda on a PlayStation, I would just fucking be so happy not having to buy another console. But I get that it's all proprietary. As far as shout out to the Game Grinder, because he commented on where I was joking about our conversation about the multiple game launchers, where he misunderstood. And I was saying, no, it's annoying as shit. And I had to point out to you and to him, was like, Epic has had their own game launcher for years now. I got Shadow Complex from them years ago for like $3 or $4. But to be able to play it, I have to sign into my Epic account. I have to use specifically their launcher to be able to play that game. Whereas I do believe it has a Steam release now. But, you know, things like that. As far as, is one storefront better than the other? No, I'm just a spoiled consumer, and I would really prefer to have it all in one central location. I just happen to prefer Steam. Steam, to me, just does it better. For someone who's a former PC game pirate, that's actually what got me to convert from. It was like, holy shit, I can just buy this for really cheap on Steam. They're going to fucking patch it for me, keep it up to date. Everything is centrally located here. This shit is fucking amazing. You know, why would I ever bother pirating something again? But when it comes to something like, oh, I want to play Battlefield 4 or 5 with my coworkers, like, all right, I got to launch fucking Origin and this, that, and other. But it's all EA stuff. Like, I can only play those EA games, and as far as I know, within that launcher. What do you feel about it or think about it?
I've never been much of a PC player at all, so I don't really...
Step up to our level, bro.
Huh?
Sorry, no. Being a smart ass. Just for the record, I'm not a PC master racer. I'm just a fucking gamer.
Yeah, I don't really care. Like, I understand that it's an inconvenience for people, and I understand that, you know, these exclusivities do drive down, you know, people's engagement. Like, they want to play these, but the companies are making money. Like, they're getting paid handsomely for these exclusivity, at least enough to cover the cost. And most of these exclusivity are just a timed deal anyways. Like, they're not full on restrictive forever. Like, you'll be able to do it eventually. So I'm having a hard time myself coming around to, like, hey, just sit and wait. You don't have to buy games day one anyways.
Right? You shouldn't.
Yeah, so
I think we had this conversation last week on the podcast too.
Yeah. So I feel that they don't want to get a thing, but hey, you don't have to actually buy anything extra. Like you were saying, if you could get Nintendo games on your PlayStation, you'd be all for not having to buy another console. So if you have to download another launcher to play a game, I really don't feel that bad for you. And ultimately, competition, this is not good competition, but competition is better for the market. And I'd rather have there be 2 people or 3 people out there making, vying for your attention and trying to make themselves better in doing so. I think it'll be better for everybody, and everybody's just kind of got to deal with it.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think competition is great for everyone. And when we initially discussed it the other week, I was saying, the thing is, Steam has done it better. You got to be better than the other guy. They got to come up with something different or innovative to be able to compete and hang with them, rather than saying like, oh, okay, well, you can only play Epic games over here, or you can only get Halo for PC on Steam or something silly like that. It's like, no. Add some cool fucking new feature. Find a way to integrate your shit into a console, Epic. Honestly, if you guys can pull that off to make your PC only games, which I don't think are really an issue. I think pretty much any of their games are available on console, but they can find a way to do that, since we have cross-platform play on so many games coming up, there's no reason they say, all right, install the Epic app on your PlayStation 4. Yeah, you still got to buy your games directly from us, but you can just launch it from your PS4 and play it. You ain't got to have a PC. And there's always going to be some exclusivity. I just find that as time goes on, it's going to be more and more of a problem. We're starting to see it a lot with the new TV shows that are coming out. Like, not just, Netflix has a license to a lot of the Marvel stuff, but now
Disney's doing its own.
Yeah, Disney's doing its own thing, and then DC Online or whatever their TV service, like, oh, you want to watch that third season of Young Justice? You got to pay for us. If you watch Doom Patrol, only we have it. And to me, that's it's really inconvenient and annoying, but
Well, and those are extra services that you have to pay for.
Oh yeah, additional $10, $20 a month is like, damn, guys, it's like I may pay $20 a month or 21 or whatever for Netflix, but I get a lot for my money. It's like, step up your shit if you want to compete. Don't rely on the internet to say, oh, you guys are picking on the little guy or bullying him or something like that. It's like, no, step up your shit. Same thing with Blizzard. You don't hear anybody bitching about Battle.net, which I think they did away with or something. You want to play a Blizzard game? John, you want to play Diablo? You want to play World of Warcraft? You want to play StarCraft? All right, you got to fucking launch Battle.net to play it. You got to sign into that shit separately.
That's the only PC game I actually religiously played was StarCraft on Battle.net.
Nerd!
Yeah, dude, I loved it, man. Yeah. We would get 3 computers sitting up in the house. My brother and my buddy Justin would go in different corners of the house yelling at each other. It was fantastic. Good times.
Yeah, I remembered something else that I heard about the Epic Store, too, this week. They are going to pull Rocket League from Steam. They're going to continue to support Rocket League for Steam users, but after a certain point in time, they're going to stop letting more people buy it on Steam.
That is not a smart move, Epic.
So that happened too, or is in the process of happening, I should say.
Well, I guess if we're done with this little tidbit, speaking of the internet making decisions for people, the Sonic movie, I think is a pretty good topic to tie into. So I know we missed out on it last week, and I'm actually happy we didn't talk about it last week.
Now we've got updates.
Now we've got updates for it that we didn't have to worry about. So obviously, unless you live under a rock, the Sonic movie had a trailer released. We all knew it was going to be terrible looking back when initial photos were shown last year, and the video just kind of proved that. So obviously, lots of memes have been created. And since then, because the movie looks so poor, the director has backpedaled and said, all right, we're going to make a design change and it's going to be for the better.
Does that mean that they have to redo the whole movie? Every scene with him in it, they need to swap the character and reanimate?
Well, not necessarily I mean, the animation's there. So it's really a matter of going into the film and just modifying every scene that he's in, where you see his face, I would imagine.
Is it just the face they're changing?
I don't know. I don't have that much, but I would imagine if they want to go the easiest route, which they probably will, it's just going to be a change of eyeballs.
So I need to know if this is just me, because I'm not a big Sonic person, so I've been on the train of a long time being like, oh, how's Sonic going to suck this time whenever they make a new one? But
well, the movie is just the new, how am I going to suck?
Well, no, I know, but my friend said, and I can't believe he said this, that Sonic was the only thing wrong with that trailer, and that if they make the model better, it'll be great. And I'm just, how did you get that from that trailer? I don't think that Sonic was the only thing wrong with that trailer. I can't imagine it would be a good movie regardless of what Sonic looked like.
I'm pretty sure that the Sonic movie in general is just going to be a bad movie.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think fixing Sonic is going to fix what's wrong with this. I don't think it's going to be a flop at all. I think it's going to be hugely successful. I mean, they keep making Sonic products because they make money.
So I saw a photo the other day, and it had, how the Avengers movies were laid out phase 1, phase 2, and all that? Somebody did that, but they put the video game titles for phase 1, phase 2, and it started going down a list. It was like Sonic, Mario, and then later on Mario versus Sonic Olympics, and it just kept going through this whole list of all these variety of movies that would be tie-ins, and I am scared for our future right now.
Certainly understandable. I would say, going on the basic premise of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game, story-wise, they can make a decent, cool movie, an epic story, so to speak. As far as, and I also am not a really big Sonic fan. I've never finished the Sonic the Hedgehog games, but as far as why they felt the need to reinvent the wheel as far as what the character looked like, I think is what bothers everyone, because they're trying to cash in on nostalgia, and Nintendo just so clearly showed that, like, you can easily 3D animate these characters to look just like they're supposed to. Like, I've never been a big Pokemon fan. I've never finished a Pokemon game, but I want to see Detective Pikachu, and I think all the Pokemon in there look fucking phenomenal.
I think they've already announced that there's going to be a sequel for that.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, shit, I'm already sold on it, you know?
Yeah, I can't wait to go see it this week.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic, and that's what I think is kind of shocking to people, is they see Detective Pikachu for the last, 6 months, and all the videos and trailers and everything tied to it, and you're just like, wow, this is going to look great. And all of a sudden, like, hey, look, here's Sonic. Oh, and by the way, that iconic character, we just changed how he looked, given, the last 20 years of photography and everything.
Well, they just did Sonic Boom a few years ago, and that was a total redesign.
God, that did not go over well either. Sonic Boom, the way they did all the characters, especially Knuckles.
I've always heard from people that the show is supposed to be okay.
One of the cartoons a lot of people really like. I think the comic book is still ongoing. It's been going on since I was a kid.
That's what I want. Bring back Fat Sonic. You remember Fat Sonic with the chili dogs from the first cartoon?
Is that what Justin's been referring to on our page?
No, he's like something about Big Yoshi, and then he posted some dumb, like really dumb crank call. I think I listened to like 20 seconds of it, and I was just like, nope, peace out on it.
Yeah, okay, so it's Big Yoshi he's talking about. All right.
Yeah, BG Yoshi or something.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll probably like Redbox the Sonic movie when it comes out. If that, I might even wait like a month after Redbox for when it hits Netflix. I don't think it's something I'm going to see in theaters personally, unless there's drastic changes. And if
or if it's so bad that you got to watch it in theaters because it's hilarious.
Well, that, and if they put Jim Carrey in a fat suit, that's what I really want to see.
Actually, that's what I kind of look forward to. I haven't watched the trailer. I've just seen the pictures of Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, and he looks great. And I was like, I keep wanting to picture him as actual like full on Dr. Eggman. It's like that'll be fucking amazing. Just put him in like a big rotund fat suit and turn him loose.
That'd be awesome.
Great.
I'm sure he's probably like, nope, I'm not doing that. That has to be what had occurred on the back end. Like, we want to make you big. No, I'm going to do my own.
I'm willing to bet it's going to happen at some point in the movie. Jim Carrey will take it and run with it.
That's true. They might. I guess we'll see, but it's not something I want to see in theaters unless it gets like stellar reviews. I don't, or like to your point, really, really bad reviews. And it's like, you got to see it.
Yeah.
It could be the Sonic 06 of the movies.
Right?
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of Sonic, I think he was on this list in the past. Yeah, he was. All right. So, Video Game Hall of Fame just announced their 2019 inductees. We have Colossal Cave Adventure on the Commodore 64. Mortal Kombat.
Never heard of that game.
I hadn't either. Mortal Kombat. Super Mario Kart. And Solitaire.
Yeah, every time they announce one of these lists, it's like, what? That wasn't already in there? Next year it's going to be like, oh, Super Mario Brothers. Like, are you fucking kidding?
Here's the thing. This particular organization has only been doing it since 2015, so we can quickly rattle off these names. 2015 was Doom, Pac-Man, Pong, Super Mario Bros., Tetris, and World of Warcraft. That's kind of odd. 2016,
World of Warcraft.
I don't know why this one would be on here right now, but Grand Theft Auto 3, Sonic the Hedgehog, Space Invaders, The Legend of Zelda, Oregon Trail, and The Sims. How The Sims and Oregon Trail made it before Super Mario Kart baffles me. The next one we have is Donkey Kong in 2017, Halo, Pokemon Red and Green. Why
Red and Green?
That's weird.
Not red and blue or red yellow.
It just says
blue,
Red and
yellow.
Green. Interesting.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's weird. Street Fighter 2. And then in 2018, we had Final Fantasy 7, John Madden Football, Space War, and Tomb Raider. So that is currently all that's in the Video Game Hall of Fame. I'm still kind of baffled by the whole Oregon Trail and Sims. Like, I understand why those games are on there, but at the same time, games like Super Mario Kart probably should have been jumped up there first.
Well, it's obviously not chronological.
Well, yeah, no, it's not chronological. I'm just saying, like, you announced Super Mario Kart 2 or 3 years after Oregon Trail and The Sims make it on there.
I mean, I would, as much as I think that Mario Kart is an amazing game, I think if I was tasked with coming up with, okay, you've got 5 games a year you can bring in, and you have to pour through every game that isn't the 5 that you brought in last year, like, I'm sure all of these are up. Like, I'm sure there's a running top 100, and you just kind of, roll the dice or, decide how many people have been reached by any of this stuff. Because anybody who's, like, as far as I know, anybody who's ever been in school in the U.S. and had, like, a computer lab has played Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but anybody that...
And died of dysentery.
Yeah, but anybody that didn't have a Nintendo has never played Mario Kart.
Well, and here's I went on their website, just kind of check things out, and there's actually a nominate choice, and it says write your choice in, and it has the little I'm not a robot thing, but so it looks like this is purely, I would imagine, fan based for the most part, to write in names, and they probably just tally up the most and then go from there.
That would make sense. I also get a feel from going,
or at least use it as an influencing factor.
Yeah, like something along those lines.
Listening to the list that you went down for each year, it also strikes me that they're also trying to aim for the genre-defining games. Like, the things that when they came out, they were something new and different. Oregon Trail, Mario Kart, when it came out, was the first game.
Racer.
Yeah, it was the first kart racer. Street Fighter 2 was the first, not the first, but the first real full-stream mainline commercial traditional fighting game.
Mega hit.
Yeah, mega hit. Mortal Kombat was the first ultra-violent, fighting game that went mainstream and that,
helped define the ESRB.
Exactly. Helped change so many things, So I can definitely see them inducting things like Doom over Wolfenstein. Okay, to be fair, Doom was a much bigger hit, far more defining, but things like, all right, will we have Duck Hunt or Lethal Enforcers or House of the Dead? Which one of those, like, really kicked off? I swear to God, if they fucking nominate Gen X, I'll just drive to wherever they are and burn their building down. But Generation X with Aerosmith. But I think I kind of get that. So, but I was saying earlier, it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and shit like that. Every time you hear like, oh, they're inducting this person, you're like, holy shit, they weren't already in there?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense overall. You want to...
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Why are these in the Rock and Roll? It's not even Rock and Roll, it doesn't seem like sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting ones.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I get your point, man. And obviously it's only the 4th year that they've done this, so we'll see how things progress. There's only so many genre-defining games, but I would think for 2020, I can probably guarantee Super Smash Bros. Melee is going to be on that list. Yeah. It's going to have to be at this point. Just the rate that they're going and the types of games, and to your point, genre-defining, that would be the next
We should make a
game.
note of that and try to remind ourselves next year to check it out.
Yeah, hopefully we remember 2020's, induction. Okay, well, do you guys have anything else on news this week?
No, I think we should move on to our inflation-deflation.
You think so?
I think so.
I think I know so.
Yeah, I got no argument against that. I thought about asking if y'all talked about Mortal Kombat 11 yet, but I think that's...
we haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I think that one's kind of been beat to death, and honestly, I haven't played it either, so it's not purely speculation, but it would definitely back into the whole Anthem and Fallout 76 thing, the over-commercialization of games, that they're just trying to turn each game into its own little money factory, But yeah, let's move on. We're getting long in the tooth.
I'm just waiting for Mortal Kombat 2K20. That'll happen. All right. So...
Well, they already make you unlock your fatalities.
Did it really?
Yeah, they started in Mortal Kombat 10. Like, you can definitely just... If you know the inputs, you could do them old school style, but if you want them to appear in the menu, you had to unlock them in the crypt. And how very fucking convenient. You could pay real money to unlock the crypt faster, which is true in this one, too. This one, 11, there was a lot of complaints that the challenge towers that you had to do to get stuff to unlock crypt, chests, was being made artificially hard, like ridiculously hard. But
yeah, I just saw an announcement that it was like nerfed.
Yeah, that they actually had to down patch it, because even pro players were just like, look, this is fucking ridiculous. You guys can't tell us that y'all didn't test this and think that, oh, this is intentionally done this to try to influence
Squeeze you.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, Mortal Kombat games have been traditionally hard. Mortal Kombat 2... for anyone who's never played it, even the Super Nintendo version or the arcade version, that game, the AI cheats. It's a well-known fact. So all the Mortal Kombat games have definitely been hard, but they went overboard to the point where it really felt like, or seemed rather obvious, they were trying to push people into just spending real money on coin or whatever the fuck it was. So.
Coin with a K.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so moving on to our inflation deflation.
we had Killing Time for the 3DO.
Ryan, I had a whole little bit of bridging to say, like, we dusted off the 3DO console.
Segue right out the window.
Yeah, it's just gone. Like, you see what you done there?
I do.
Yeah, okay. Well, Killing Time. You've been for all of them.
Later on.
What was that?
You can insert a window breaking noise later on.
That is true. Oh, yeah.
So it was released in 1995. Developed by Studio 3DO, Logicware for the PC Mac edition. What'd you guys think about this one?
Well, I am surprised I didn't throw it for motion sickness. That's the first thing. Obviously, it's an older game and way ahead of its time when it was made. We're talking about a title that was rolling around during the era of Super Mario Kart and Mortal Kombat 2. Yep. So, when you pull a game like this as a first-person shooter with voice acting, animation, and some of these games actually did real video, like Mad Dog 2, I think, is a good example.
Full FMV.
Yep, this one has a lot of full FMV. The model of in-game, the Ghost, those are actual recording digitizations.
Yeah, so there's a lot jam-packed on these. The actual gameplay itself, I thought it was pretty fun. Given at least a little bit that we played, I would imagine based on the cover, it probably gets into some pretty sickening monsters that we battle. We just obviously didn't get that far, but I left playing that game with wanting to play it some more.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to honestly progress through that game a little more.
Yeah, I would like to see what transpires as far as the story.
I think it was, it's probably the earliest first-person shooter that I've played. Now, I think, because I've never really played Doom. I mean, I guess I've played Doom, but
what?
No, I've played Doom, but I mean, I've never.
We're correcting this.
I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna go play Doom now. But like you were saying, after playing that, it's something that I would go back and try again, and probably try some more just to see how it compares to some of those older games. Because the movement wasn't crazy fast; it was just the turning that was crazy fast.
Yeah, and I wonder if there's a way for us to remedy that, given, upscalers and that type of stuff. It might be a good idea to give it a shot and see what happens. Maybe we could smooth it out a little bit more.
I would think so. I mean, I can always bring over my S-Video upscaler if you have an S-Video cable. Certain models of the 3DO, I think yours does has a S-Video.
Yeah, mine does.
Yeah, which will get us the best color, and we can always upscale the composite. But I think, honestly, even on your old CRT, I personally was impressed in how good it looked as far as, like, yeah, a lot of it's just maze-like, drab, all the walls are the same, but things like the bushes and the extra textures and things like that for a game that came out in 1995, and obviously being a PC port, still really impressive. I myself have been looking at this device called the RetroTink 2X, and it is it's not upscaler, it's a line doubler, which is essentially it's going to take that 240p resolution from your Super Nintendo and actually output it as 480p or 720p. And I've been looking at it a lot, and it does. Everyone's just raving about how well it works, and it looks really good. Like, even N64 games, don't look like blocky, smudgy, pixelated Vaseline. The videos I've seen of people playing them on full 4K TVs, it looks fucking stunning. So I'm thinking about investing in one of those.
How much are they running for?
They are definitely cheaper than a lot of other options, like the open source scanline, whatever the heck, generator, and definitely way cheaper than the FrameMeister, but it's $99 plus power supply and a mini HDMI cable. So expect about $120.
That makes sense. Well, yeah, when you end up investing in that, let me know. I'd be interested to see how it plays, especially if I can hook it up to a 4K TV.
Oh, absolutely. The last upscaler I bought is made by a company called Linking, and it's I had an older version of their S-Video composite upscaler. It worked great. Then I saw, when I was poking around a few years later, I saw they released another one that did a better job of the colors, things like that, and it works fantastic on my previous 4K TV. Dreamcast looked great. N64, as long as you sat a fair distance away from the TV, looked surprisingly good. My only complaint is that any kind of fast-moving image, like, for instance, Super Mario World or Mario All-Stars, Mario running, would leave a little bit of a blur as it went, because it's trying to match up to the refresh rate of my 120 hertz panel, but it did pretty well, and that's actually been my concern. Is like, all right, the RetroTink is handmade by a guy. He made the custom chips for it, the software, everything, And if it can do that where everything is not blurred and everything is as realistically sharp and vibrant as it can get without having to do things like HDMI mods to the consoles and stuff, then I would say it'd be worth it. Because I paid about, each time I bought one of those Link King boxes, they were about $70 each. And totally worth it. I gave you my old one, which you subsequently lost, so you never got to try it to see how it worked. It worked really well. But yeah, it's on my to-do list, and I think it's going to look fantastic. I was actually thinking about when I get it, I'll bring it over here and we can hook up like your N64, because John does currently hook his N64 to his 4K TV, and when he does, our fucking eyes bleed. You can hear fucking babies wailing blocks down the road. It is so fucking terrible.
Hey, we can still play it, though.
Yeah, if you want to play like you have macular degeneration, then I imagine so.
Hey, it's just, anticipating the future, that's all.
I'm just going to take some Vaseline and just blur it all over your TV. Well, there you go, John. I put on an N64 filter.
That's about right. Ryan, anything else input on your end? I mean, this game I thought was actually pretty cool. Probably one of the better ones that we've tested out of the blue.
I don't know much about the 3DO, and I would wager that it's probably not something that I would ever invest my money into. So I think that unless you already have a 3DO and this is a game that you actually would play, I think that that's kind of like right there as a stopping point for me. Like, if you're just a games collector and you're not like really into playing it, like, I definitely don't think that this is worth picking up as just a collector's piece. But if it's something that you actually would go back and play, I think that, what is it? 22 loose, 49 complete in box.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap for a 3DO game, actually. Games like Road Rash, for example, are running like $20 to $30. So it's, and to be up front, if anybody listening, is when I picked up this 3DO, the guy advertised it to me as full 3DO console, and he had a good stack of games. I'm like, all right, this is cool. And then when I get there, he's like, oh, hey, here's a binder too. I'm like, what's this? Oh, it's a bunch of games that I burned for the console. So, like, there's games in there that are easily complete in box, like $900 that he burned at one point. And so when we play this game, obviously this particular one, we didn't have a full complete in box version, but I do have some physical copies I'd be interested in playing. But yeah, to your point, I would not personally invest in a 3DO unless you had a stellar deal kind of pop by. And the fact that he had the games in a case I wasn't expecting that, but it was kind of a nice plus because now I could test out some of those higher end games. If I choose to buy a physical copy, now I can.
Mm-hmm.
I myself, that is one of the rare times where I do want to have one as a bit of a collector's piece. Just like I want to get a Famicom disc system. Previously to your gift, Ryan brought back The Legend of Zelda on the Famicom disc for me from Japan, which is just awesome. It's going to go on my my treasure shelf. Yeah, you feel special. You get a spot on the shelf.
Oh yeah,
he's got a spot on my shelf right there too.
Yep.
He's looking right at it.
Yeah, he's looking at it like you can just see his head swelling, But yeah, I've wanted a 3DO for years just because the novelty of getting to play these games I never got to play, and as a cool collector's piece, and personally as that I know I can just, if I can find the ISOs, that I can just burn them, I picked up a Saturn years ago for cheap with no real intention of ever collecting for Saturn, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to mod chip, and I did. I mod chipped it and be able to play things like the Japanese version of Symphony of the Night and cool stuff like that I've enjoyed. So yeah, as far as the game itself, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, a lot of 3DO games are fucking garbage, to be honest. But this one was really good. Even for how it's aged and things like that, it's really not bad at all. It's got some cool puzzle elements. They put a lot of effort into the story, and the acting is not bad, when you watch the FMV Ghosts and things. So yeah, I would actually be curious to play it a little bit more, kind of see where it goes from there. I do have to ask John, do you have Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo on your 3DO on your burn games?
I think I do. I know I have
but you don't have a 6-button pad, right?
No, I don't.
Damn.
I've only got the 3-button pads.
Damn, I always wanted to play that version on 3DO.
I mean, I can get a 3DO controller 6-button pad.
Well, I mean, I have it on like PS2 and every other fucking version of the sun, but it's just like I never got to play the 3DO one. Like when the game came to consoles back in the day, the 3DO was the only console port of it at the time.
Gotcha. Now, one Street Fighter I think we can play at some point soon is Street Fighter the movie on PS1.
Oh god, yeah, we should do that, or I can fire up the arcade edition on an emulator. It's for anyone who's not familiar and never seen it, imagine Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat style. Like they're all the live action character actors from the movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme. The movement is stiff and awkward. It's something to behold for sure.
Well, I do have it right behind you there, so maybe that's a game we play down the road. Ryan, what are you interested in playing next week, by the way, before we go into if this is worth it or not?
I don't know. Why don't we try something for
Game Boy.
You said Game Boy?
Game Boy.
Yeah, let's try something for Game Boy.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, why don't they make a Game Boy Classic? I read a thing the other day. Everybody thinks the N64 Classic would be the next thing. Why don't they make a Game Boy Classic? That'd be dope. Like a little rechargeable pocket Game Boy.
That actually, when you present it like that, that's actually a pretty cool idea.
That'd be worth the $100.
Don't give Nintendo ideas, Ryan.
Shit.
No.
You just did it to us, Ryan.
Hold on. We can edit this out, I think.
Guess what's going to come out near Christmas? Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
I would really like a N64 Classic, especially if they put in a little more powerful SoC, a system on chipboard, because the one on the NES Classic is the same one in the SNES Classic, and even as a person who literally owns all the fucking games that are on there, I still think it's cool and convenient that we could just fire it up and everything. Mm-hmm. I would like it for the N64, especially if it's a little more powerful processor, because then I will definitely get one just to mod it, because as a techie, I'm one of those weirdos. My original Xbox is modded, PS2 is modded, my Wii is modded, my Wii U is modded. If I can mod it just to be able to have all the games crammed on there, I do. One, for the fun of the project, and two, for sheer convenience. Like I've actually really been digging the Switch Nintendo Online. Even though they don't have a lot of games on there, I think it's cool as shit that I can just poof, almost instantly, boom, I'm playing Ninja Gaiden, boom, I'm playing Star Tropics. Yeah. And I do have the save states and things like that. And they do neat little remix options. Like, all right, here's Kid Icarus, and then here's Kid Icarus at the end of the game with everything fully powered up already for you. So if you just want to go in there and beat it again, then you have that option. And I've really been enjoying that.
I need to renew my subscription.
Oh, I don't know if they're still offering it, but Amazon Prime through Twitch, that's how I got mine. They gave me a year for free.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Possible subject for next week. If I may or may not be here. If I am, probably talk about the rise and fall of used game stores.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I know we've been wanting to talk about that one for a little bit. As far as Game Boy games are concerned for next week, are you looking at Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance? What's your idea? Or is it just anything within that realm of Game Boy?
I don't know. Pick something.
All right, we'll pick something, and we will announce it next week.
Or leave us suggestions.
That too, for those listening. So, I don't know if you want to reprice, but 22 loose, $49.50 complete in box, $139 new. Ryan, inflated or deflated? Is it worth it or not worth it?
I'm gonna say $22 for a loose copy. If you already have a 3DO and are a collector, I would say go for it. I think it's fun. I think that it's a good throwback. I would do that. If I already had the investment, I would do it.
At $22 loose, to your point, I have a 3DO. I would probably pick it up, but I prefer these games complete in box, so I'm going to go based off the $49.50. I think at $49.50 it is inflated, so I would be more willing to pay something like $30 for a complete in box of this game.
I would say, since it is the 3DO, I would say the whole thing, collecting for a 3DO, literally is a collecting thing. Like working 3DO consoles themselves are fairly uncommon. Even on eBay, they're a little difficult to get a decent one that doesn't have weird issues, that actually fully functions. And the games themselves are especially uncommon because, frankly, the shit was crazy expensive when it came out. The games were expensive. No one bought them. So me personally, I'm going to take it from the perspective of a full-on, a hardcore 3DO collector. I would say in that perspective, $50 for complete box, absolutely worth it, especially since it's a decent game. As far as me just being a general video game collector myself, I would say I honestly would still say $50 complete in box if the box is actually properly intact, because 3DO did have those paper boxes, which are, really hard to get a hold of and take care of. Kind of in the same way you Sega CD and Saturn collectors can relate on, not having cracked up plastic cases and stuff. Yeah, just imagine that, but just fucking cardboard over 20 years.
Yeah.
1995, 2005. Oh, God, I'm getting old. And you guys are getting old with me. Haha.
Yeah, my copy of Alone in the Dark 2 is that flimsy cardboard that they released. Now, some of them are kind of that thick cardboard clamshell type style. Mm-hmm. Those have held up very nicely, but my copy of... Yeah, it's just Alone in the Dark 2 is the only one that I have a complete box copy. It's not clamshell, and that thing is just like not in good shape.
Yeah, so my perspective as a general collector... Hey, you just want to play it? Yeah, I'll give you $20 for just a disc, just so I can play it. But as far as like, hey, you want to add this to your collection? Not for $50, I don't. But that's just me personally. I don't collect 3DO. I do want a 3DO, but I don't collect for it. Just like I don't collect for my Dreamcast anymore. I just burn my games I don't want to play. I don't collect for Saturn. I just burn the games I want to play. Which is kind of silly. My original Xbox is modded and loaded with games, but I still buy original Xbox games because I started out collecting them. So now,
yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say we had some pretty positive reviews on this game. So I'd say this is one of the better ones.
It's a good one.
Man.
Let's find something good for next week. Keep this rolling.
Yeah,
do 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, that would be 3 weeks in a row. All right. Well, I think that does it for episode 28. We're closing in on episode 30, so that should be pretty cool. Well, this has been John.
I've been Ryan.
I could be James.
You could be James. And we are the Game Deflators.
The
James
producer.
I think that's a movie. All right.
Probably.
Thanks, guys.
Buy our merch.